Okay, next we have women business owners for all of you entrepreneurs out there, how to go from start to scale. Michelle King Robson is the founder of EmpowerHer.com. Amy Palmer, founder and CEO of Power Women TV. Alexa Von Tobel, she is the founder and CEO of LearnVest. And Carolyn Goen, she is the CEO of Levo League. Please give them a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with a wonderful panel. I wish that I could take you backstage with us, because always in the green room is when the best conversations happen, and we really get so intimate with one another, and we're going to try and bring that here with you. So, I have an incredible panel here, and these women have been through so much, and they've come out stronger, wiser, and they're here to inspire you. So let me just introduce my panel here. So first, we have Alexa Von Tobel, who's the CEO of LearnVest.com. Now, Alexa has raised over $72 million in financing. Okay, there's a lot of other things I could say about her. She went to Harvard Business School, but she is brilliant at raising money and inspiring all of us to live our most authentic life, and not being afraid to go in the room and saying, this is what I'm worth and this is what my company is worth. So we also have on the panel Michelle Robson. Now, Michelle has an incredible story. She got sick after an unnecessary hysterectomy and created Empower Her. And this company's mission is to make sure women are educated, have support, and are empowered to lead healthy and happy lives. So I think everybody here will be very moved with her story and how she can affect us.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
And Carolyn Goen is an incredible millennial. I'm very proud of her because she started Levo League. Right? Did I get it right? Okay, and it's a professional network of young leaders, role models, innovative companies taking Gen Y by storm, and she's really here to help Gen Y navigate the first 10 years of their career. And she's inspiring, and she's also raised about $7 million?
We just closed on $7 million.
$7 million. So this is an incredible woman right here as well. So, the first thing that I want to start off with, and it's always the interesting story behind these women's journey, is what made you want to start your company? Alexa, why don't you start?
So LearnVest in one sentence is a program for your money. We can take any household, whether you make $50,000 or $500,000, and then we created tremendous technology. So like Uber gets you a taxi fast, we made it so that you could get access to a dedicated financial planner who can help you figure out anything from buying a home to selling a home to having a baby to losing your job to figuring out anything, and to make it affordable. So it's a subscription service. It's $500 for the year, and you get access to an expert, and they're on demand for you, and they work full-time for us. So how did I start my company? Why did I come up with that idea? Well, I graduated from Harvard. I went to go work at Morgan Stanley as a trader, and I remember thinking to myself, I have no damn idea what the hell I'm supposed to do with anything when it comes to personal finance, because we don't learn about it in schools. Everyone in this room, I went to Harvard twice, it didn't matter. I never learned a single minute of personal finance education. What's a credit score? What should my budget be? What the hell is an IRA? And when do I care about it? And I realized that literally money is our lifeline. It's everything. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't true, but it is. We make 6 to 10 money decisions every single day, but for most people across the country, unless if you have millions of dollars, lots of people want to talk to you and give you financial advice, but I thought to myself, why on earth is getting access to financial advice something that only wealthy people get to have? That would be the equivalent if every doctor decided that they're only going to see healthy people. that would be really not smart. And so what I decided to do was to completely disrupt the financial planning space, which is to make any household across America, you can go to learnbest.com, spend $500 for the year, you get your own dedicated expert, we build you a financial plan, and they're on demand for you. And it's all trusted and unbiased. And so I got my idea because I was literally client number one. I built the product that I wish existed for me. I wanted transparent, trusted, affordable, and accessible advice, and I didn't want it to be a complete pain in my ass. And that's exactly what LearnBest does. So we raised now almost $75 million to be able to make it so that everyone across America can get access to a financial plan and to make it affordable. So if you think that's something that you'd want, go to LearnBest.
I know, amazing. Michelle, your story, I touched a little bit upon it, but if you could share it with us.
So I started empowerher.com because I got sick and I couldn't get well. I always say I got sick, I got mad, I got well, and I started a company, because you never want to get a woman mad because she's going to go do something about it. And so I did. No idea what I was doing in the internet space, technology, no background whatsoever. But I knew one thing. When I was sick, and there were, when I started this company 9 years ago, there were 650,000 unnecessary hysterectomies in the United States every year. And I fell victim to it. Now we are at 550,000, so it has gone down, and I'm very proud of that number, and we've got to continue to decrease it. But what I learned is that women are underserved when it comes to their health and wellness. We are light years behind the times, and I was one of those women who did not advocate for myself, and I didn't want to get out of bed, and quite honestly, I didn't want to live anymore. I thought about taking my life every single day, and nobody knew, because women silently suffer. And so in the end, at my darkest moment, I said, if I get well, God willing, I'm going to make sure that no other woman suffers like I did, not if I can help it, not on my watch. And that's why I started Empower.
This is why I love women so much. We just share in their tears, and it's just amazing. Carolyn, why don't you tell us why you started?
Sure. I mean, you are both very tough acts to follow, but I think, something that we all have in common here is that we created something for ourselves. We were all the first users of the products and the companies that we built, and it's no different for me. So Levo was founded out of the difficult transition from college to the quote-unquote real world. And if you take a step back and you look at how women perform, we perform at parity, or in many cases outperform men in academic settings, where it's structured, it's very clear what you put in and what you get out of it, as clear as it's going to be, in the context of your life, right? It's not perfect, but it's systematic. The second that women move into the workforce, we fall behind, and we fall behind really, really fast. And those first 10 years are that critical time when we either access mentors, find the career that we really love and can be dedicated to, really perform in that career by learning how to be excellent or not, right? Find the context and the support of a community of peers in our city that makes us feel happy and makes us feel like we can do the next thing that we're afraid of, or we don't. So those first 10 years are really critical. So the whole idea behind Levo, which is now the largest and fastest growing network of women in the first 10 years of their careers, is that we want to we want to use technology to make career success accessible, right? For the first time in history, we actually have the opportunity to use technology to solve this problem. We've been talking about women falling behind in our careers for a really long time, right? And now we can actually change that, because technology allows each and every person to access a mentor, right? Everybody can learn from Sheryl Sandberg. They don't have to be sitting across a table from her. Everybody can learn from Warren Buffett, people that we featured on Office Hours. In the last panel, Soledad was sitting in my seat. We had her on Office Hours. It was incredible, because millions of people tuned into her advice, and those are millions of people who would never have met her in person and learned from her. So technology is a really beautiful and powerful thing, and I'm fundamentally a big optimist when it comes to that. And I think it can be harnessed for good. So the whole concept of Levo is that we're here to elevate your career. And Levo is the Latin root of the word elevate, and it means to smooth, polish, or improve. And we're really passionate about it. And we're passionate about it because we're creating something that we need, It's for Gen Y women, by Gen Y women, and we know that this is the critical time. Those first 10 years are really make or break, and we want to make sure that this generation doesn't experience the same leadership gap as the last one. So that's what we're doing.
So, I mean, all of the stories are so inspirational, and I know that every single woman sitting here has an idea, and every single one of you says, I have an idea, how do I make it happen? How do I take this that's inside of me and make it a reality? So, the three women here, you've done that. What has been the most important component for you in starting your company?
Well, Catherine on the last panel said something that just it really resonated with the exact way I think, which is the first thing is dream really damn big. And I can say it, and I mean it, and I will. I wrote a book this year called Financially Fearless, and in the inscription in the cover, I said to my parents for letting me dream really big and for letting me have wild dreams and never letting on that they were wild. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. I was 13, and I was like, I'm gonna go to Harvard. No one in my family went to Harvard. You know, not even everyone in my family went to college. And my mom was like, okay. I think my mom was like, what? Who is this kid? My mom was like, yeah, good luck, kid. But I think just dream really big. Who gives a damn what anyone else around you thinks? Because at the minimum, you may not hit that big dream, but you know, I said, I want to start a company that disrupts the whole financial planning space. You know, there's big financial institutions out there, and I was like, you know what? There should be something better. There should be something more honest, more transparent, and that really gives you the advice that you need because you really need it for your family. And you know, that's what I'm dreaming about every single day, and that's why I get out of bed every day. But I do think that you have to dream much bigger. You know, I was sitting next to a woman at like a Forbes dinner a week ago, and I said, I get out of bed every day because I want to have 1 million clients. 1 million families across the country should have much better financial lives because at the end of the day, it's just math. And someone needs to give you a plan to say, here's how to pay off your debt. Here's how you can afford that home 100%. Here's how to protect you if you get sick, because if you get sick, all of a sudden, that's a huge financial problem too. And the woman looked at me and said, why 1 million? And I said, 10 million. 10 million. She goes, that a girl. She was 65 years old. She's an incredible, huge executive. And I was like, you're right. I'm going to dream bigger. 1 million's not big enough. And I will say that at the absolute bare minimum, if you set the bar way up here and get out of bed to go way up here, even if you fail, you're still here. And that's much better than if you were thinking about this every day. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I will say. And I really, again, you know, it's so cool to be up here with such smart women all the time because we all have our own little things. And it is really, my biggest message is just dream so much bigger. And who gives a damn what everyone else is thinking? And I honestly will say that that's the best way to get out of bed and achieve success.
It's incredible advice, and it's true. I always like to say, if you want me to do something, if you doubt me, then I'm going to prove you wrong.
Oh, amen.
And
yeah, do not doubt me.
If you just say
that is my motto.
That's cute, and have fun trying to do that, I will see you in a year.
Yeah.
So, and I think we all of us collectively as women need to harness that because it is 100% possible to make it happen.
Yeah, tell me I can't and I will.
Right. And Michelle, you know, what about you? What are the most important things for you?
I ditto the dream big. When I started before I started the company, you know, I started fighting the FDA. And who would have thought that I would start fighting the FDA, right, as a single woman who knew nothing about, but I wanted to make sure that women were getting what they needed, so I started an online campaign. And it got over 50,000 responses, and so the FDA had to pull this was a citizen's petition for women to actually not get their hands on compounded medication, which is always targeted to women. So I said, no. I just got well, and compounding is part of the program that got me well. You're not doing this. So I did an online campaign, and of course the FDA said, oh, we don't want all these women sending in, you know, their prescription bottles, and so, okay, we're not gonna, they never decided, they never voted on it, which was a good thing for us as women. And I've gone back to fight the FDA many, many times. That was a dream I had, actually. There was a dream that for me to serve on an FDA panel. Now you have to understand that I never went to college. So I automatically went right to work. Do I recommend that for young women today? No, but that's what happened in my life. But I want to make change, right? And how do you make change? You have to dream. I always shoot for the highest stars that I can. Now, who's going to have a person on an FDA panel who does not have who's not a doctor and who has no college degree? Well, I just was asked to submit for a panel for the FDA. And which, I mean, whether I get the position or not, I'm so honored because they're listening to the message, which is we need help as women. We are underserved, and this has got to change. And I'm going to ensure that we start the change. It's one woman at a time, and collectively, watch out, because we can do anything.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Amen.
Carolyn, why don't you talk a little bit about the most important things in starting your idea and your business?
Well, thank you. I mean, I totally first and foremost agree with everything that the two of you have just said. And just to take an additional angle on this, one big challenge that I've faced is the struggle against my inner perfectionist and inner doubting, not very productive voice. So, actually, am I allowed to ask the audience a question?
Sure.
Okay, great. Raise your hand. Feel free to close your eyes if you feel more comfortable. Raise your hand if you have ever wanted to do something and a voice in your head has told you you're not good enough, it's not going to be good enough, don't do it now because, there we go, don't do it now because it's not going to be perfect, that other person could do it so much better than you, and so on and so forth. Okay, great. So we all know her, right, this roommate who lives in our head, and she is way louder when you want to start a company. I mean, this lady has a megaphone. So, yeah. So, my biggest piece of advice is that nobody's perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But, the biggest thing that I can recommend that you do is just start by starting, right? And I think as women, we put too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect, and perfect becomes the enemy of actually making any progress at all, right? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be embarrassed by what you create. It's normal, right? And that's okay, right? You're going to fail, you're going to succeed. That's totally okay. I think that we need to have more conversations about, really being gentle on ourselves and giving ourselves permission to create more, right? To Alexa's point, if you dream bigger and you give yourself the permission to actually move towards the direction of that dream and that higher bar, you're going to achieve so much more than if you sit on the sidelines and you let that voice in your head dictate your life. And I am speaking from experience, right? I have had a real struggle with this in my own life. And I think that, this confidence gap is something we hear over and over and over again from our 9 million plus members, right? We hear this over and over again. How did you start a company? You must be different from me. I'm not different from you. I'm not, right? All I did was I had friends and I had mentors and I had people in my life who loved me enough to encourage me to put one step in front of another. And what we want to do is use technology to make that accessible to everyone, because it really is, there's no silver bullet when you're starting a company. It's really just a matter of the small actions, day by day, with persistence that begin to add up. And it's totally okay if you take three steps forward and one step back. That's okay, you're still moving forward. So give yourself a break. So that's what I would definitely say.
We talked about this in the green room, the hurdle of raising money, and I know a lot of women in the audience, they're not even there yet, but it's really important when you start your company to understand that an idea is just an idea without revenue, right?
Right.
So we have to make our companies profitable, not only for us, but to send a message to other women that it's possible to have this dream and to live this life. So just briefly, I want to just talk about some of your experiences. And Alexa, who I mentioned, has raised $72 million. So I'm going to start with you about that process.
So I think one of the things that I always say, so first, find a few people like me and follow and listen to the things we do. I actually share on social media, on my Instagram handle, just @AlexaVonTobel, what it's really like to run a company. I actually found my phone in the refrigerator 2 days ago. I was like, yep, that's where my phone was, got it. Anyways, I think, so a few things. First, I approached going out and raising money, and when I was really talking to investors, as first you want to bet on me because you don't want to bet against me. And on the flip side, I'm going to make you a lot of money. Like that's really like this, I'm giving you an opportunity for me to make you a ton of money. And I think when you start to switch it that way, instead of feeling like you're begging someone, it's like you want to invest because listen to this great idea. And so my 10-second story of how I got started. So I dropped out of Harvard Business School in the fall of 2008, December 18th of 2008. To remind you all, if you actually look at the stock market chart, it was drop dead bottom. It was actually so bad that when I called my mom and said, hey mom, I'm gonna drop out of business school, she was like, oh man, Alexa, here you go again. Moved to New York, and I think actually most of my best friends thought I was truly crazy. They were like, this is the time where people are hiding money under their mattress, and you're gonna leave this cushy golden comfort of Harvard Business School, which was one of my other dreams, to go start something by myself with no co-founder. I had not $1 of funding. I had a little bit of money in my own savings account, and go get out the door, and here's why I did. So a few things that have helped me make really good decisions over my life, and we will all make mistakes. I make a ton of mistakes. But first, number one, I had this little filter, which was 90-year-old Alexa. And I asked this person, truly, hey, would you regret not doing this? And when I was in undergrad, I worked in the happiness lab. That was a real thing. And one of the things that people, as they near the end of their life, you ask them, what do you regret? They never regret things that they did. They always regret things that they didn't do. And so that filter becomes really damn clear when you're like, 90-year-old Alexa, would you regret not starting this company that you cannot stop thinking about, that you know that you're capable of really building, and that you're probably the only person that's passionate about building it? And finally, 90-year-old Alexa said, girl, you got to drop out of business school. So that's what I did. Second, I moved to New York, and the second piece of raising money was I wrote a 75-page business plan. No one should do that.
Yeah.
What was important about it was I sat still, and for anyone looking at LearnVest from the outside, we started as content, then we built a money center so you can link for free all of your money in one place, you can see everything, and then we launched advice. And for many people from the outside, it was content, then it was tools, and now it's full subscription advice. It's literally my original business plan. It said, first we're going to start as content, then we're going to go build these tools, and we're in a compliant industry. It's incredibly complicated to innovate inside of something that reports to the SEC, but I sat still for a full year. I founded LearnVest May of 2007. We didn't even launch till 2010 because first I started the idea, then I came up, and once I had that business plan, no one needed to see that business plan. You need a 12-point PowerPoint deck to go raise money. That's really what you need, but I needed it. Because if anyone asked me any question, I was like, here's what I think, here's why, here's 27 words of research. And for me, I wanted to have the strategy in place because when you're running a company, we're now about 140 employees. We're gonna be about 400 over the next 3 years. We just raised $30 million roughly a month ago. And I don't have the time to be thinking through all of the strategy. You can pivot 15 degrees. It's hard to pivot 180 degrees. And so for me, I wanted to have the idea. So my best advice is, one, think about your 90-year-old self, because they really know what you should be doing. Two, write a business plan for yourself, not for anyone else. And what I mean by that is, take the time to really do the research on whatever your big idea is. Know as much as you possibly can, then put it in a 12-point PowerPoint deck, and then follow a few people like me or people even well beyond me that are many years ahead of where you want to be, and watch and think and get a sense of what they're doing. And what it helps you do is just figure out where you need to go, and then put one foot in front of the other. So that's honestly the best advice to raising money.
That's great. I mean, Alexa, you would know, and I think that is incredible advice, especially the 90-year-old, because I think that a lot of us get caught up in all of our life drama.
You only live once.
Yeah.
This is like the main stage, guys. You get one shot.
No dress rehearsal.
Do what you want to do, and you're going to fail, and that's okay. We're all going to fail, but do what you want to do. You're never going to regret it.
Yeah.
Michelle, we actually have just two minutes left, so
it's a quick,
you could just give a little bit of advice.
Well, and I think the strategy is important. So there's, for me and my business, I started my own company because I could afford to start it. And although I did go to the venture capitalists after I started the company, I went to, I think, 30 of them with my PowerPoint presentation in hand. And I was turned down by all 30. I had a couple of maybes, but they didn't understand, why would I do a business just for women? Hello. So I kind of battled a little bit back and forth with them about, do you understand that women make 87% of the, household decisions and they're the buyer, and I can go on and on. Maybe you didn't know that. Okay. So they weren't very happy with me, with my response. So I went the angel route for another funding, and then I've since funded myself, because here's what I know. I believe in what I do every single day. When I get out of bed in the morning and I look to see how many lives we've saved, changed, or improved, I know I'm doing the right thing. If it's just one, that's good enough for me.
Agreed. Carolyn, we literally have 30 seconds, but.
Okay, I'll try to keep it short. So, with Levo, we're a lot earlier on the fundraising trajectory than Alexa is with LearnVest. So, we just closed our angel round. It was about $7 million. What I will say, though, that I think we haven't touched on yet and we were talking about in the back, is that it's really, really important for you to stand still and understand the landscape of funders and really understand who is going to help you move your business forward before you talk to anyone, right? So the dynamics of fundraising are very straightforward, and they're very correlated to like romantic or interpersonal dynamics, meaning that you want to be really careful about who you approach, right? You want to be very, very strategic and specific, and you don't want to spray and pray, right? You want to basically approach someone, you want to have a special relationship with them, you want to know that they are someone who can really advise your company and take it to the next level, and you want to move fast, right? And you want to be really clear when you get to that point. Now, we want you to walk away from this panel feeling energized and inspired to go raise money against the things that you believe in and that you can do. This is something that I feel that women are really afraid of doing, and there's no reason to be afraid. It's just a simple set of rules, and again, it's math. And once you start doing it, it becomes easier and easier, right? It's really about getting over that first hurdle and believing in yourself. Because here's the secret. Nobody funds a victim. People fund victors. They fund people who come in and they say, I'm going to create $1 billion business. Here's why. I have my business plan. I have my PowerPoint presentation. And here are the 15 reasons that you should bet with me, because if you don't bet with me, you're betting against me, right? And so it's just really, it's a hard thing for us to do, I think, and personally it's a hard thing to stand in a room, say that with a straight face, but I think something to remember is that you're not fundraising for yourself. This is not money for you. This is money for the cause that you believe in and the business that you're gonna build and the product that you're gonna build. So every time I stand in a room, I am the girl who didn't correct when I was 12 and I started babysitting, and the people that I would be babysitting for gave me the wrong amount of money, I would not correct them. I would just say, oh, thank you so much, okay, I'm leaving, see you later. That was $15 less than what we had agreed, but that's okay, I don't want to make anybody mad, I want them to like me, right? So this is a real fear place for me. But I want you to know that the second that you forget about the fact that it's you personally, and you start to think about the fact that you're advocating and you're an ambassador for a cause that you believe in, studies show that women are extremely persistent and effective at negotiating when they're negotiating for someone or something they love. So forget it's you, and think about the end goal, and you're going to be really successful.
Yep.
I want to just close the panel on just what's your mantra? What's your mantra, Carolyn?
My mantra is start by starting and ignore the doubt in your brain.
Just have passion. Have passion about what you do, and it'll get you to where you need to go.
Get up, dress up, show up.
Love it.
Get up every morning, dress the part, show up with a great attitude, and take it one day at a time.
Thank you.